Hello everybody, welcome back to the great state of Montana. This is the Caribbean Cowboy. Hey, I wanted to talk to you today about preparing for a western big game hunt. For a lot of people that come out west to hunt big game, from antelope to moose, they need some information. And I'm going to try to, in a short period of time, give you as much information as I can without totally overloading your senses, so to speak. Number one, first of all, if you're planning a western hunt, my advice to you, number one, first of all, would be, what do you plan on hunting? Are you hunting antelope? Are you hunting deer? Are you hunting elk, moose? You need to decide on what you want to hunt. Then from that point, you need to decide on where you are going to hunt. Are you going to hunt Montana? Are you going to hunt Idaho? Are you going to hunt the Pacific Northwest? Or let's say maybe you're talking about going to Alaska. Each of those areas have different geographical problems for hunters that come out west. And I'm going to try to touch on those lightly. Number one, and first of all, here in my state of Montana, elevation can run anywhere from 3,000 feet above sea level to up to 8,000 to 9,000 feet above sea level. It's mostly mountainous terrain, very rugged terrain, and you have to keep that in mind. If you're from back east or the Midwest, the first thing you're going to find when you head west, if you're hunting in states like Montana and Idaho, and sometimes in the Pacific Northwest, even other elevations a little lower, is lack of oxygen. So you're going to have to prepare for that. My advice to you would be to try to get in shape. I'm not saying you have to be like Rambo or Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm saying you're going to have to mentally and physically prepare yourself for the lack of oxygen. Here in my state, and I'll use this as an example, in Montana, my house sits at about 5,700 feet above sea level. Where I hunt ranges anywhere from 6,000 to 9,000 feet above sea level. And even though I live here, and I am acclimated for this climate and altitude, it still takes its toll on you physically. I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not trying to tell you that we're superhuman, but it does take its toll on you. The other thing, you're going to be going after these animals across various terrain. If you're hunting antelope, be prepared to walk long distances. Antelope have very good eyesight. They're not an easy animal to approach. They mostly live in flat open country where they can see for miles. So prepare for that. If you're hunting deer and elk or moose in Montana or Idaho during October, November, when the hunting seasons occur, be prepared for cold and snow. And I do mean cold and snow. I've seen it where the weather can go from dry and 40 degrees to the next day being up to your knees or better in snow and having it 20 below zero. So you're going to also have to take that into consideration. The other thing is, if you want to go with a guide, there's a lot of public hunting out here in the West, but you can also go with a guide. But let me give you this advice if you're going to go with a guide. Number one, be upfront and honest with the guide. Let them know of your physical limitations if you have any. Let them know of your intent. These guys do this for a living, so they're boony stomping in the mountains all the time, and they seem to forget that not all people have the same endurance that they have. Keep that in mind. You don't want to throw down $7,000, $8,000 on a western hunt to find out that you're with a superhuman athlete that's running you up and down a mountain, and 2-3 days into your hunt, you're just miserable. So make sure you keep that in mind, and make sure you present that to the outfitter or guide that you are hunting with. If you're hunting on public land, BLM or Forest Service. Try to get a topographical map of the location of which you want to hunt. Study it. Know your physical limitations. Because as I just previously stated, nothing ruins a hunt more than being 2-3 days in and being frustrated and miserable. Clothing. Prepare for very cold to very mild weather. Don't bring your heavy wool pants and heavy wool coat and then get out here and find out that it's 30-40 degrees above zero, which, you know, is a very dry climate. We don't have a lot of humidity. And find out that you brought the wrong attire. The other thing would be footwear. I would recommend a good quality boot, one that you feel comfortable in and one that you can walk in for miles. The other would be your physical ability. If you're chasing out the antelope or deer in broken country, be prepared to pack that animal out. If you're going after elk or moose, which by far get bigger than any deer, be prepared for a lot of physical activity. And I'm not saying this to scare you or to ward you off. I'm just saying that elk and moose are big animals. They can range anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 pounds. And they're about the size of a bulldozer when you get one on the ground when you first walk up and look at them. And if you've got to carry that bad boy out on your back, you're walking a mile or maybe 2 each way, it'll definitely give you a new perspective for that animal and how heavy they are. So with that in mind, make sure you keep those thoughts in the back of your mind. The other thing would be rifle calibers. Now in Montana, my state, I can't speak for other states, but in my state of Montana, you can hunt everything from antelope to moose at the same time. So depending on what you want to hunt, do not limit yourself. If you're going to be in a place where you're doing a lot of wide open shooting, make sure you take a cartridge that can shoot out to 300-400 yards. Make sure you can hit your target out to 300-400 yards. If you're hunting in heavy timber, let's say for elk and moose, don't use your favorite deer rifle, let's say a 243. You're going to want something a little heavier. Maybe like a 7 Remington mag or a 300 Winchester mag. You're going to want something that generates a little more recoil, but it also generates a lot more knockdown power, because as I previously stated, you're hunting an animal that weighs close to a ton and can absorb a lot of energy. So, with that in mind, prepare for that. And prepare to have fun. The West offers really good hunting. It really does. Whether you do it yourself or you go with a guide, it can be a real fun experience. And try not to forget that. Even though you're throwing down a lot of money for the hunt, prepare to have fun, take in the scenery, and enjoy yourself. That is the biggest part of the hunt. So with that, I hope I gave you some information. I hope you find that useful. And make sure, no matter which state you're booking your hunt for this fall, you understand the game rules and regulations pertaining to the area and the animals that you are hunting. Make sure you get a copy of those rules and regulations. Make sure you read them and make sure you thoroughly understand them. And if you have a problem with understanding them, because some of them can be a little tricky, contact the local Fish and Wildlife Service, because nothing would aggravate you more than spending the money, coming out here to hunt, killing an animal, then getting stopped by a game warden and finding out that in some way or fashion you may have a discrepancy with the law. So with that, from the great state of Montana, this is the Caribbean Cowboy saying, see you next time.